Good evening, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. On this Palm Sunday, I decided to do a second one. I didn't get a chance to release that last one until a few hours ago, so I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I want to kind of do another one. I'll probably release this tomorrow morning when I get a chance before I start work. So I hope you guys are doing well this evening. A great day in the Lord's blessings, and I hope everything is going well. Thank you guys. Shout outs to a bunch of people. I'll do a couple of these. I will apologize if I kind of make mistakes on some of this stuff, because I try to read it and copy it down, and sometimes doesn't copy quickly enough. Level Earth, and I think I said Hanafa, but it's probably not Hanafa, it's something else. So I apologize for that. And is Level Earth based, I guess. So maybe if I'm wrong about that, please correct me, and I'm happy to put that in there. But for today, guys, just me, thank you for a nice comment on that, my friend. Not brolly, I appreciate your comments. Diakite, thank you for your comment. Sergio the Barbiero, thank you for your comments. Trial Walker had a couple of them, thank you. Dawson Bayer, thank you for your comments. Vicky bhardwaj, thank you. The Cast Pajamas, PJs, I appreciate that. Coen, thank you, my friend. Fresh Start, NPC, dirtymint, Antonio, Soul Connected, DH, and Jonathan, I appreciate the comments. And that kind of gets me caught up for the last week or so, 2 weeks ago. And we'll kind of do another one this coming week and kind of catch up with a lot of that stuff too. So, all right, so as we look at this, my friends, let's kind of start at 2 minutes here. We'll start at 2 minutes with the comment. Now, I'm going to give a couple of other shout outs here. PikaSkills, actually, on one comment. PikaSkills had some good comments. He kind of talked about John 3:16, and also I think it was John 4:24. And so we're going to talk about this, especially on a Sunday when it's the Sabbath day in my book, and the Lord's Day. So it's kind of nice to kind of talk about this a little bit. But let's kind of talk about the idea of a separate spirit and the flesh when it comes to SR. So, as I said, we'll start about two minutes here and talking about this. So the key is, and what Pike is talking about, and I agree with Pike a great deal here, is the idea that God is your spirit and the passion is your body. So the body is the passion and the God is the spirit. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit in terms of semen retention. So we know, as far as our energy goes, that energy cannot be transferred. It cannot be destroyed or created. It has to be transferred. And so when we look at situations that we're dealing with, we have to realize that as warriors, we have a tremendous amount of energy that should be stored up in ourselves throughout our bodies to heal ourselves, to also motivate ourselves to do good things, protect the world around us, protect our family, protect the people around us, the world, the nation. And now more than ever, we need that. The other thing is providing. It allows you to provide for your family. It keeps your energy level high. You don't want to deplete that by releasing all the time. That's the kind of thing we've been talking about all along. But when it comes to the spirit, God is a spirit in you. What you have, as you see this, as you're looking at me, as you look at yourself, as you look at other people, this is just a body that sometimes can be used for God's purposes to achieve things. But in a sense, we have a body and we have a spirit. And the spirit is really what God is creating with. That is what's running everything inside. Yes, we have blood and molecules, all those things, energy, all those things that happen in our chakras. All that helps a great deal, no doubt about it. But really what motivates us down deep is our soul, is God's spirit. And so there's a difference in what he's talking about here in separating the spirit away from the flesh. And this becomes certainly very important when it comes to how to handle temptation and keeping on your purpose. Because the way that we have to focus on this is realizing that the temptation and the evil one can only get to us through our body. If he starts taking over our soul, then we're in big trouble. We have to make sure our soul is strong. So going to masses, going to churches, meditating in the morning, reading your Bible, your Quran, whatever your source of that God connection is, we have to keep doing that. Once again, habit forming is really important. Form that habit to build that strong spirit. Because there's going to be times where you're going to be tempted. And you have to basically kind of have a strength that's stronger, that passion. Because this drive is powerful. We all know that. That's why we release. We all know how strong this is. But the key is having a stronger will, which comes from your soul and God. The spirit is stronger than the flesh is. We know the flesh is weak. We read that in in the Bible and all the religious texts. We know the flesh is weak. We know the body is weak. It can consume the passions, emotions, all these type of things. But what is strong is your belief in God and a belief in the rules of God and the fact that you do not want to release and break down that temple of God, your body. Your body is a temple. And so what you don't want to do is kind of hurt your body because your soul is getting corrupted. And this is what we have to be careful of. So I think Pika brings up a very good point. The way to handle temptation, the way to continue on your pattern is through the soul and God and the spirit, not through the body. Yes, we talked about temptations. We've talked about trying to do exercises, deep breathing. All those things can help move it to a different level. Move it to bring oxygen to your mind, getting away from the thoughts. Yes, that will help you temporarily. But in the long run, what really helps you, which is what I think developed with me over the last 3, 4, 5, 10 years, has been growing in spirit. And realizing that less and less I don't need to have this level of arousal. I don't need to look at females in this way anymore. That's a big difference. And I don't know if we've had some questions about releasing and procreation and marriage, and we'll go back to those at some point, because there were some good questions about those type of things. But the bottom line in having a strong spirit and a soul is the fact that you are with God, warriors, and God is moving you in different directions. And realizing that the soul, the spirit, is so much more above that simple temptation of having sex with a woman. That's why that should be put on the back burner. That's why that's not all that important. Right? And I understand as a warrior at 61, I'm saying this now. At 20, I certainly did not think about that. Because our society is built in this idea that as a young person, you need to have sex as much as possible, procreate as much as possible, have as many releases as possible. And those are those things that have been programmed to us when we're younger. But as an old veteran of the wars here, I could tell you that that is not that important. In the long run, what is it really achieving? Yes, if you're having a child, that's a wonderful thing. That continues the progression of your generation, and it continues in multiplying. But if you're not having children, what are you really getting out of that except for a couple minutes of pleasure? And I could argue over the years that now I have more pleasure and joy in my spirit and my soul now than I did all those years when I was releasing for a few minutes here and there and getting something, some short types of satisfaction. But it's easier said than done, especially when you're younger. And I have a lot of sympathy, empathy for a lot of you younger warriors, which is kind of why I do these type of videos, because I understand where you're at. I was there as well. But one of the things I can say is, you think about this longer and longer. Develop your soul. Develop that spirit with God. And you will then move more and more away from this temptation. And when you need to procreate, when you find somebody, well, then God will help you in that situation. I fully believe that. The old idea that you can't really, you won't get aroused. We all have sexual energy. The fact is, you're going to transmute it and keep it. And that's why a lot of men between their ages of 40 and 60 are probably the most successful they are, because they've learned to transmute that energy. And that's in a famous book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, which most of the book is talking about making money and repetition of ideas in the mind. There's one chapter focusing on how to handle the sexual energy. And that's not ironic. That's because there's a reason for that. We don't want to talk about that too much in our Western world, but in the Eastern world, it's talked about a lot. Brahmacharya, Sophism, celibacy, all these things talk about how we use that energy to promote things and get things done. So the key, my friends, is Pike is talking about here, is focusing on the spirit and making sure the spirit is strong, thereby eliminating a lot of those passions for the flesh. Now, the flesh will always be those, and Satan will use those in different ways. Satan will throw temptation at you. Naked women come on across, women who want to be with you because they sense the aura, they sense your energy, they sense your power. They want to be with you, they want to be powerful, they want to have that energy you have. Those vampires, we talk about them all the time. But again, your strength comes from your relationship with God, and that's the spirit. So Pike, I think it's a great comment you're making. The separation between the spirit and the flesh is crucial in order to have a great long streak that makes you closer to God. And that's the thing I'm doing. I remember reading this. Many people talked about that 12 years, especially 10, 12 years, you can become very close to God as you do this longer. And you're able to transmute it, and you become stronger and stronger, and you become a superhuman warrior. And that's what we want to become. We need that in this world right now. We need to continue building on this. And the way you do that is through the spirit. Yes, you can do exercises for flesh, but remember, the flesh is weak. The spirit is strong. All right, Pika, thank you for your comment. Once again, a shout out to you, my friend. And again, I hope you guys had a great Palm Sunday. Looking forward to Easter next week, and I'll try to do one tomorrow afternoon if I can, or maybe tomorrow evening. And until then, my friend, remember two things on this Palm Sunday. A, first one, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And B, don't ever forget to battle